Hello my friend, how are you? I hope you and your family are doing really well and keeping safe and healthy so far. So today I wanted to do a movie reflection on the movie called Michael, and I just want to share everything that I felt when I was in the theaters watching it. So first I'm going to be using this, the e.l.f. primer. I'm not going out today, so I don't need to put on sunscreen. But before I get started, I hope that you've been doing so well and overall your month of May and all the past months have been super well, that they've been going really good and you're staying healthy. I absolutely miss filming here on YouTube, and I'm so excited to get into the swing of making videos again and to get ready with me. So for the movie Michael, I have always knew about Michael Jackson and his music. I've always have heard it in the radio stations that I listen to because I just love the 80s, 90s, early 2000 music playlists, and there's only a few that actually have that category, because all the others are kind of like pop and current hits, which I don't really enjoy. Except maybe like Billie Eilish. And so I was already familiar with the kind of music Michael Jackson was known for, and right on top of my head he has so many that I'm aware of and that I love and that I really enjoy listening to. Particularly like in Halloween, Thriller is always like played in my house when we're giving out candy to the children. That one is absolutely a classic. There is a couple of other movies that I knew that they played Michael Jackson's music in, like 13 Going on 30. There was one that was like an animation that played the bad song, like I'm bad, you know it. Yeah, I'm bad, like that one. They played that one too. So yeah, like right off the bat, like he has an extensive list of songs that I really like and still enjoy, especially with after watching this movie. It kind of brought back how many hits of songs that he had back then. It kind of reminded me of the era from Madonna. She also has like so many songs that are just so good. Like you can't forget about it, and also you can't deny that it's very unique even to this day. And so when the movie starts out, of course I'm not going to reveal everything, but it does start out with how Michael started in the music business, and it was because of his dad. And his dad and Michael and his brothers, they formed a band called the Jackson 5, And so this is like a music group that started out with them performing together, and then this is where Michael gets known for his unique voice. And it was brought out of suggestion that he should start singing solo song leads, and that kind of led to how he eventually became very famous, especially with his dances and his movements. So I'm going to be using the Colourpop Gettin Fresh Mega Palette. This palette's so beautiful, super colorful. The first shade I want to take is Gone Bad. And so for me personally, I never knew the struggle that the Jackson 5 had with trying to make it in the music business. And they worked really hard to get their music on the charts. And so once that happened, they started to do like tours. And this is where Michael gets really popular with what he could bring to the group. And he was very, very young. He was a kid, and he was always on the move with his brothers. And it did show in the movie that they pretty much lacked sleep and kind of having a social life outside of their home. It was almost always about creating music and just pretty much making money. And so one thing I never knew about Michael Jackson is that he really loved animals, and it does show in the movie how he was kind of getting into that as he grew into an adult. And I believe his first pet that he wanted to get was like a baby, I think it was a chimpanzee or a gorilla. I think it was a chimpanzee. And he named his pet Bubbles. So I thought that was really cute. There's like a lot of like cute moments of how Michael was with having animals. And at the time he was living with his family still, and he absolutely loved bonding with his mom, watching movies, and adopting a lot of animals too at the same time. And it also does show Michael's insecurity with his physical features. So another thing that I didn't know that he would do is have surgeries for his nose. He didn't like how it looked, and also his skin. Like it would be uneven pigmentation on his hand, and so he would often wear like a glove, maybe to like cover it up. But like in terms of like the surgery, I didn't know that he had one for his nose. And then also he was just really worked up to making sure he made the songs that he did. Like he was very focused into getting top charted songs, and so he was always focused on the pop era. And during the movie as well, it introduces like the moonwalk dance that he did, and the set of working on the music video for Thriller. And that one is iconic. Like, I've always heard of the song, but I've never seen the music video, and I still have yet to see it because I saw almost like the kind of like behind the scenes in the movie with how Michael wanted Thriller to look like. And I just thought that was really cool. Okay, so the next shade I want to take is this one right here. This one is called O. And so I thought it was very interesting with how Michael wanted Thriller to be perfect and done his way. And he did such an excellent job with executing how he wanted, and the dance moves and the scenery of the background and the costumes too. I thought that was so fascinating to see. And also one thing about Michael is that he really loved children. He actually loved to donate money to children's hospitals, especially with the hospital he was staying at when his head got on fire when he did a commercial for Pepsi. And so that incident, he would spend time with children there, and when he got money from what happened, he ended up donating everything to that hospital he was staying at. So it was almost like a facility to care for patients that had burn incidents, especially with like fire. And so he spent a lot of time with the kids there, and it's just really heartwarming with how Michael was with the children that really were in pain. And I feel like his presence is what made them feel a lot better. And ultimately that is what Michael was known for, to giving back to children and being really attentive with signing autographs, giving away a lot of merchandise and taking pictures with them, and overall just spending time with them too. Everywhere that he went, he would think of the children. So overall that just shows the kind of heart that Michael really had. And whenever you care for children like that, it just makes you such a beautiful person. And I truly think that Michael was really misunderstood with all the allegations he got in his life. And I do see that he didn't deserve that. So ever since I finished watching the movie, I noticed that on my Instagram and my YouTube feed, it's all of Michael in the past. So like I got to see when he won a Grammy, when he was doing like his concerts. One in particular was with Diana Ross, I believe. And when I saw those old videos of him, he was such a handsome man. And I think it's very unfortunate that he felt like he needed to do surgery to improve his appearance. But I think in reality, like at the time when he did his Grammy wins for the song Thriller, and on that album as well, like he was such a handsome person. Like he truly did not need any surgery to improve his nose or his face or anything. Everything about him, he was just, there was nothing to improve on. And yeah, so that's one thing I could say. Like he didn't need all those surgeries at all. Okay, the next shade I want to take is this one. This one is called Literally Me. Okay. And so another thing I want to know with watching the movie in theaters is it felt like I was in a concert watching it, because it performed all of his songs in that manner, where Jafar Michael, who is the nephew of Michael Jackson, he's the actor that played him in the movie, and so he was the one doing all the performances on camera, and it just felt like you were there. Like it felt like it was a close-up personal concert for the viewer, and I really appreciated that it was kind of done that way, because it was so fun. And when the movie ended, it did say that it was going to continue, so I assume that there's going to be like a part 2 for next year, and I'm really excited to see that as well. So I do want to darken up my eye looks. I'm going to take this shade called Funny Story, and I'm going to put that on my inner crease. So I really recommend that you watch this movie if you want to know the life of Michael, because I think it's like an autobiography in a sense, but it's going to be reflective with kind of like how he started, his personal struggles, his love for animals and children, and how he worked really hard to get to the top of the charts as his career was blooming. And it did leave off with how he decided to leave the Jackson 5 on tour right then and there, when it was kind of like a farewell. So yeah, it did leave off with a note that Michael really wanted to tour by himself rather with his family, with the Jackson 5 and his dad. And that's ultimately what he wanted. He wanted independence. He wanted to build himself with his own brand. And he did that by saying that he did not want to be in the Jackson 5 when it was like a farewell tour. And so he did that. He kind of announced that he no longer wanted to be in the group, and it was like their last time. So that was like a really big deal back then. So I really recommend that you watch this movie if you want to see all of those themes, and overall just getting to know Michael Jackson as a whole, as a person, as an entertainer. And yeah, so like I really recommend it. I had so much fun. It was so nice also to see the variety of animals he owned in his life. So he had a snake in his room. I remember the giraffes. That's like another big thing. The chimpanzee. The llama. The llama was a big one, and that one was so cute. So I'm going to take this shade right here. This one is Surreal. Surreal. It's like a nice, bright green shade. Okay, now for inner corner, I'm going to take this shade right here. This one is called Striking. So I do want to make like a blush highlighter combo today, just because like my eye look is pretty bold. I want to do something pretty light, and I haven't used this in forever. I feel like I need to use it. So today I just did like a white and light pink with a cream highlighter all together. And I think a good tip to remember when applying cream blush is first putting it on the back of your hand so it's not so bold right away on the face. So I'm just going to set real quick all over the face just to make sure this one doesn't fade away with the blush I made. I don't know if this powder is a little bit too light for me. I think it could be. I look a little ashy. I'm using brightening lilac under eye powder for setting. So I don't know if it's making it look like I'm a little bit too pale, a little bit too ashy. Okay, the last thing I want to put on is this Lip Jelly Cheek Tint by BPure. I found this one at my local Dollar Tree, and it's like a purple color. I'm just going to take my finger to apply it on my lips, but it looks like this. Okay, my friends, so this is the end look. But yeah, my friend, go ahead and watch the movie. I really recommend Michael. I think that everyone involved making this movie was just outstanding. They really, truly had like an insight of who Michael Jackson was as a person and as a musician. They, like, I would say they as a family, like the Jackson 5, his parents, they really emphasize of hard work with getting yourself out there in the business world, and I think that's what a lot of us would need to do if we want to get to where we want to be in life. And it doesn't come around with just staying at home and kind of not doing anything. It really takes something to do to make things happen. And that's what Michael Jackson did, and his legacy will always live on. And even after his death, like, his music will always be around for generations to come. But I think it's mostly important to remember how good of a person Michael was, and we should always live through charity and care for animals, and just overall being like a very humble person to ourselves and to everyone around us. So thank you again, my friend, for watching. May God bless always. I'm currently filming this on Pentecost Sunday, so happy blessed Pentecost to you if you celebrate. It's the last day of Easter, which makes me a little sad. I feel like I want Easter to keep going until August, but today would be the last day, so I have to take down my decorations by tomorrow, and then we're back to ordinary time. So thank you again, my friend. If you are new here on my channel, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here. I really appreciate all my viewers here and all my subscribers. I'm really grateful for you. And I hope to see you next time on my other video whenever I upload it. And I hope it'll be real soon. Okay, bye, my friend.